Now at 10.
My brother's never lost a battle until now.
The family of a combat veteran killed by Bexar County Sheriff deputies is talking about the death of their loved one. Plus, the newest information just released in the last hour from investigators.
Matthias Ometu speaking out for the first time after his release from jail. His negative claims against San Antonio police and the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
Not all of us saw the rain today, but don't put the umbrellas away just yet.
Eyewitness News at 10 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Deborah Knapp.
And I'm Aaron Wright. First at 10, law enforcement controversy across San Antonio and Bexar County.
We are following new developments in two incidents. One where a man claims he faced discrimination at the hands of SAPD and ended up in jail. The second involves a combat veteran who was shot and killed by a deputy. We begin tonight with the unexpected death of Damian Daniels.
New at 10, a vigil was held tonight in honor of Damian Daniels, his death sparking outrage and calls for change in the way law enforcement responds to mental health calls.
For the first time, we are hearing from the Daniels family.
Eyewitness News reporter Henry Ramos with their fight to protect those who served.
My brother's never lost a battle until now.
Combat veteran Damian Daniels served and survived 2 tours in Afghanistan. Now the 30-year-old is dead. He lost his life at his own home in San Antonio.
I'm hurt.
Damian was shot and killed by a Bexar County Sheriff's deputy. His older brother Brendan says his brother should still be here.
This is a situation that could have been avoided.
When deputies got the call to Damian's home, they say he was experiencing a mental health crisis. Sheriff Javier Salazar says deputies talked with Damian for 30 minutes. At one point, he says the combat veteran grabbed a deputy's taser and didn't comply with deputies' orders. Damian had a gun in his holster on his hip. He was shot twice and killed.
Damian Daniels!
His death has sparked protest and has raised concerns about mental health in law enforcement.
I believe law enforcement should not respond to calls like this.
The family demands for reform within the sheriff's office and says more mental health resources are needed.
Once they realize that a person is in a state of mental health, I believe the proper mental health professionals should be contacted.
Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf says there are 16 staff members at BCSO trained in mental health.
I thought that mental health professionals should have been sent out there.
He was living his best life, and unfortunately was cut off.
The civil rights attorney for the Daniels family is asking for an outside investigation.
There's no way that the sheriff's office should be investigating themselves.
Henry joins us live outside the sheriff's office. Henry, why didn't BCSO send one of those 16 trained mental health deputies?
Aaron, when asked that question, the sheriff says that is not their protocol. Deputies on patrol were dispatched. He also said the deputies that were there did not have time to call up the deputies in the mental health unit. The sheriff also says he believes that the deputies in that unit wouldn't have done anything differently. Meanwhile, the Daniels family, they're calling on Sheriff Salazar to step down. They also hope the district attorney will present the case to a grand jury. We're live tonight outside the sheriff's office. Henry Ramos, KENS 5, Eyewitness News.
Henry, thank you. Just in tonight, new information from the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. They released the names of the 3 deputies involved in the shooting of Damian Daniels. They are Deputy John Rodriguez, Deputy Enrique Cepeda, and Deputy Michelle Garafia. BCSO says the investigation into the shooting is ongoing.
I was stripped naked. I was exposed. And I felt violated.
Matthias Ometu details his traumatic experience with San Antonio police and the Bexar County Sheriff's Office. He spoke publicly for the first time after he was mistaken for a violent suspect and then arrested by SAPD last week. Eyewitness News reporter Holly Stouffer shares his claims and how officials are responding.
In the car. Come on. No, I'm not. I'm not getting in the car. I didn't do anything.
With hands cuffed behind his back, Matthias Ometu is forced into this cruiser.
I was guilty before proven innocent.
Ometu says one of the officers threatened him.
One even purposely slammed the door. He said that he was a little bit bigger than me and that I was lucky that he was not there. I'm working out. I'm doing a run.
Last week, San Antonio police stopped Ometu while he was out jogging. They thought he was a suspect in a crime.
What's your name?
Later, they realized they had the wrong guy. Yet they still booked him on 2 felony charges of assaulting a peace officer.
I was told to calm down, but there's nothing calm about placing an innocent man in the back of a police vehicle.
Ometu says he was stuck in the back of the cruiser for hours. He claims the officers refused to give him water. He was then taken to the county jail. Ometu says that's where the mistreatment continued.
I was stripped naked. I was exposed. And I felt violated.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office tells us it's standard procedure. Ometu spent 2 nights in jail. Yesterday, his felony charges were dropped by the Bexar County District Attorney. Ometu says he's thankful to be free, but this doesn't right the wrong.
I was punished for invoking my rights, and that has to be addressed.
SAPD never got back to us with a response to Ometu's claims. Mayor Ron Nirenberg says Ometu and these officers were caught in a difficult situation. He says learning should come from what was captured on video.
We've got a lot of work to do. There's no doubt about that. And that's every community in the country is dealing with the same issues right now.
Holly joins us live outside Plaza de Armas. Holly, how does Ometu's attorney plan to move forward with this case?
Deborah, Ometu's attorney says she is disgusted with how law enforcement treated him in this case. She says there needs to be a transformation in hiring at SAPD, as well as more bias training. A civil rights lawsuit was also brought up earlier during today's press conference. Ometu's attorney didn't confirm or deny that those are their plans. She says they're looking at all their options and will release more information when they're ready. We're live downtown tonight. Holly Stouffer, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
KENS 5 has had team coverage of this incident since last week as it gained national attention. For more on Ometu's arrest, head to KENS5.com or the KENS 5 app. There you can find his full remarks, body camera footage of his arrest, statements from the police chief, and more.
New developments tonight in a murder-suicide investigation in the Stone Oak area. The medical examiner's office has identified the 2 victims as 55-year-old Gabriella Albright and 67-year-old Joseph Albright. SAPD says they were called out this evening after the husband and wife were found dead inside the home. Police say a relative became concerned after the couple couldn't be reached. Authorities say they are not looking for any suspects.
City and county officials say there's been a slight increase in coronavirus cases in our area. Today, Metro Health reported 250 new cases, bringing the overall total to more than 46,000. There were 13 new deaths. Mayor Ron Nirenberg says some of those came from the state death certificates. There was some positive news tonight. Officials are reporting a decrease in hospitalizations. You can see the graph on the screen shows a downward trend on the far right side.
During the update this evening, Judge Wolf touched on the CDC changes for evictions on moratoriums. As of right now, the agency is halting evictions due to the pandemic. The CDC says putting people out of their homes because they can't pay rent poses a health risk, with the chance of spreading coronavirus even more. Here's what Judge Wolf had to say about the change and how it will impact Bexar County residents.
Our justices of the peace now are waiting for information from the Texas Supreme Court, who stopped us from doing evictions. We had issued emergency orders to stop them. Both the mayor and I did. Then the Supreme Court said we couldn't go any further. Then this comes out, so we're trying to make sure that we handle that right. Now you need to remember, you may stop the eviction, but you're still going to owe the rent, and at some point in time, you'd have to pay that.
Wolf says the moratoriums would start on September the 4th and run through December 31st. He says both the city and county are offering grants to people who are unable to pay their rent. Fort Hood officially has a new senior commander. The change of command ceremony was held this afternoon for Major General John Richardson. Barry Roy explains the decision for new leadership.
In addition to the new deputy commanding general taking over today, General Michael Garrett has also appointed General John Murray to lead an in-depth investigation into the chain of command that botched the disappearance of Specialist Vanessa Guillen. Guillen was murdered on post April 22nd, and her remains were not found until June 30th near the Leon River. On Tuesday, a media phone call involving multiple national news outlets, which included Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy, shed light on details into sexual harassment on posts stemming from the FORSCOM investigation.
They came back and said 18 of the 53 individuals that were surveyed had said they experienced some form of sexual harassment. Now, small sample size, but nonetheless, a third of the respondents said that they had experienced some form of sexual harassment.
And McCarthy went on to say that the felonious crime, sexual assault and sexual harassment at Fort Hood is very high, saying they need to understand better the root causes of the issues so the appropriate changes can be made, even, he said, with leadership if need be.
The new senior commander will take over operations from Deputy Commanding General Scott Eflant, who will stay on in a support role. The switch in leadership was previously planned. Bill?
Hello, Aaron. We saw a few showers out there, even a couple of thunderstorms today, but don't put that umbrella away. We've got better rain chances on this new 7-day forecast, and we're looking ahead to Labor Day weekend. Deborah.
Campaign and coronavirus. The jabs both President Trump and Joe Biden are taking at each other about the handling of the pandemic.